Hey everyone, welcome to Locked On Lakers, a special bonus Locked On Lakers. Game 3, Lakers throttle the Golden State Warriors, take a 2-1 lead in the series. Break it down next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on weekends. Locked On Lakers always going to be there for you, never behind a paywall, always free. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube, 16,000 plus subscribers, all of whom are celebrating on a Sunday. The Lakers put a thumping on Golden State. 127-97 is the final score in this one. Andy, to say the least, the Lakers and Anthony Davis in particular bounced back, shall we say, between game 2 and game 3.
It's funny you say that, Brian, because I was thinking about that in terms of just sort of talking points for this show, thinking thematically about this game. It really felt like bounce back was the thing, because the Lakers returned an absolute ass kicking where they were on the bad end of it. Yep. With one just as dominant in game 3. Anthony Davis, who was the most disappointing player among the Lakers, he had company in terms of guys who didn't play well. But when AD doesn't play well, there are more ramifications than when
11
other
points.
teammates.
11 points in game 2 it's a lot different when AD has 11 versus like when Schroeder has 4 or 6.
Right.
Or,
like I said,
it matters more. Absolutely.
The other guys have to hold up their end of the bargains, but it doesn't. Not all bad performances are created equally. AD bounced back in this game with an absolute monster performance. 25 points, 13 rebounds, got to the line 12 times, made 11 of them, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks. I can't even tell you how many plays he either got a deflection or just blew up what the Warriors were doing offensively. He just wrecked shop the entire time. And then, you start looking at, I guess, sort of smaller versions of the bounce back theme. Lonnie Walker bouncing back from a string of DNP CDs to getting surprise minutes in place of Troy Brown.
Yeah, he got the Troy Brown minutes tonight.
And acquitting himself nicely. 12 points, made 2 threes, got 2 steals, was not a problem defensively, which was likely the biggest deterrent for him getting back on the court, was just the idea of, defense and those defensive details really start mattering in the playoffs. And, Lonnie, I think, is going to stay in the rotation.
Well, I think so.
There's
no reason. Yeah, there's no reason you would take him out after what he did on. The issue with Brown was if he's not going to give you the level of defense, and bad, but he wasn't. Troy hasn't been a difference maker over those first 2 games. If he's not going to do that, then it's and
he's not hitting shots.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If he's not going to give you that elevated level of defense, he's too light a threat offensively to, that you start having him there. And then Vanderbilt had 2 points, missed all 3 of his corner threes. Wenyen, when he plays, if he plays, is not a threatening offensive player. It's like you can only start stacking so many players who just aren't a threat offensively. You can see what happens with the Warriors in those minutes where Draymond and Looney play together. Lakers have gotten very good at figuring out how to control those minutes. So playing Walker makes a lot of sense. And if he doesn't hurt you defensively, then he's going to give you much more offensively than what Brown did. Obviously the Lakers need to figure out a way to get some points. Other players that played really well, D'Angelo Russell carried them through a first quarter. It was really the only down moment really of the game was that first quarter for the Lakers. They didn't come out great in this one, but Russell was phenomenal. He had the first 11 or the first 13?
First 11, I believe.
And so, he finishes with 21, 5 of 8 from 3. And then from there, it was just defense. We'll get into some of the more of the individual performances and and some of the adjustments that were made and all that kind of stuff for Monday's show for sure. But, Anthony Davis, for example, between quarters 1 and 2, I don't know if somebody tapped him on the shoulder. I don't know what happened, but he got a little bit more aggressive, coming out higher on the floor, doing both the, hedging harder against the Golden State pick and rolls and still recovering. And was just very much more disruptive. And as a group, the Lakers really cranked it up. Golden State had 38 points in the second and third quarters.
Yeah.
I mean, to limit Golden State to 38 points over 2 quarters is mind-bogglingly good defense. I don't care how many open shots they might have missed or, shots they might have. That is doing work defensively. And the Lakers, earned this win on the defensive side.
It wasn't just the idea of how well you were defending shots or rotations or whatever, particularly in the third quarter. They played some of the most disruptive defense I've seen this group do since the deadline. And that says a lot because they've often been one of the best defensive players in the league.
Golden State had 19 turnovers. Lakers had 10 steals.
Another bounce back. Talked about that theme from game 2 to game 3. Game 2, the Lakers clearly let the referees get into their head. Darvin Ham said as much. Game 3, it was the Warriors. The Warriors were complaining a lot in this game as the Lakers got back to the line. The Warriors had some calls against them they didn't like. Most of them I actually thought were fine. I know that's going to sound homerish, but I'm just being honest.
I didn't. For example, Draymond Green picked up, a technical. Not that part's not unusual. But he was complaining hard. When the Lakers went back and challenged what was originally a charge call, Anthony Davis on Draymond. They went back and challenged it. It was a really smart challenge by Darvin, not just because it put Anthony Davis at the line, but also because it gave Draymond his third foul. And that changed, I think, a little bit of the tenor of the game. And that was one of those moments that sort of got them on tilt. You saw, Moody grabbing AD's leg, on a play that became a, multiple. I don't remember if they ended up getting the 3 points out of it, but it was a flagrant combined with clear path
transition,
whatever they're calling that now. And so it was just moments like that. Clay lost his composure a few times, and the Lakers got back to the line. That game 1 free throw disparity returned in game 2. It wasn't quite as bad as it was in game 1, but the Lakers 37 trips to the line, Golden State 17. So the difference between game 1 and game 3 with that disparity is the Lakers this time actually outshot Golden State from 3-point range too. The Lakers had 15 3-pointers to 13 for Golden State. The Warriors have a 0% chance of winning if they lose the turnover battle, which they did. If they get fewer 3-pointers made than the Lakers, which they did, and they get to the line less than the Lakers, which also happened. They will not win, and that is why they lost by 30. Lakers just controlled all of those things that you want them to control.
Yeah, the Lakers are really difficult to beat if they just defend and get to the line the way they typically do. But if they're going to defend and get to the line and make threes, they are pretty much impossible to beat. And it was really, I had a feeling they would respond well to what happened in game 2. We talked in the post-game show from game 2 about how we were happy that if they were going to get blown out, Darvin just recognized the writing on the wall early, took LeBron, took AD out of the game. I don't think they even played the fourth quarter. If they did, it was few enough minutes that it didn't matter. And we are hoping that those decreased minutes would lead to increased energy in game 3. I felt like you could see it pretty tangibly in this game. And if you're looking for potential patterns, because remember, game 1, the Lakers had incredible energy coming off the layoff, getting taken out Memphis early, and then having the time while Golden State and Sacramento went to 7 games. This was another game where AD and LeBron didn't play in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
You know, so they both played, I think, 34 minutes or less.
This time for a good reason.
Right. But maybe given the every other day part of this schedule, that becomes yet another benefit for the Lakers moving forward, because you're always just conscious of their minutes.
I don't think the Lakers punted game 2. I don't think they did. I think Austin Reeves he's tired. He was tired again on Saturday. He was tired on Thursday. He's doing the best he can and contributed, I think, you know,
he played better in the second half.
You know, especially contributing to the Lakers defensively. It's just gonna be a hard series to ask Austin to both guard Steph, guard Clay, run around, do those things he's being asked to do, and be a force offensively. This late in the season with this many minutes for the first time really in his career, I just think that's a tall ask. So if you have to choose between the two of them, then I think you are wise to say, go defend and we'll figure out the rest of it, which is why I think that may be another reason that Darvin went to Walker, is because if Austin Reeves is not going to give you 13 to 18 a game, you need to replace at least some of that somewhere else on the bench. Troy Brown's not going to give it to you. So I think that is part of it. You got to find points somewhere else, because Hachimura can't also be depended on to give you 18 a game. The game, this is a challenging defensive series for Rui, depending on, you know, what's out there. So I like the move to go to Lonnie. I think it works on multiple levels. But, you know, Reeves worked defensively, I think, pretty well. And just
second
overall,
half, I thought the first half, Reeves, to be perfectly honest, looked cooked on both ends.
I thought he came out slow, but we went up to get. I mean, we can disagree. I think as the team got better in the second quarter, I think he did as well. But either way, you know, certainly he held up as part of the third. And I also think you look at, you know, LeBron talked about game 3, and they all understand what game. You know, I don't think they punted game 2.
No.
But I think they were tired. I think they were the less desperate team, which makes sense. And I do think there is an element of energy conservation where you have to be able to measure your way through a series to some degree and know you've got sort of 4 wins worth of energy. And you don't want to blow up some of that stuff. You know, you got to make sure you come out and win game 3. And had the Warriors given them more of an opening in game 2, I think the Lakers might have more aggressively tried to go through it, but they didn't. And so the Lakers said, okay, fine. And they turned it to game 3. By the way, Golden State basically did the same thing on Saturday, going, okay, there's no opening here tonight. Sit Steph, sit Clay, and we'll come back for game 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think both coaches are very aware of the physical demands of this series.
Yeah, there's no question. And last point I would make on that before we just expand on all this on Monday, we were talking about just conserving energy, and that ends up a conversation about LeBron more than any single player on either team in this series. And LeBron, I thought, was a monster defensively in the third quarter when the Lakers really just absolutely started burying the Warriors. He had a lot of just aggressive plays defensively, had, I think, a couple blocks. There was that play where he tried to chase down a loose ball, saving it, jumped over some fans, ran, you know, like 15 rows deep.
Laying like the 200 level.
Yeah, which, you know, on one hand, inspiring. On the other hand, please don't do that again, LeBron. But it was a reminder that he's in a place in his career right now, LeBron, where he's got to conserve his defensive energy. And sometimes that means picking his spots selectively, especially in games where the Lakers aren't playing as well. But when the Lakers are rolling, he is still capable of cranking things up to help just bury an opponent.
It was interesting. I mean, he didn't take a shot in the first
like 15 minutes.
It was well into the second quarter before he took a shot. Didn't have one in the first quarter. And he was, again, part of that, you know, Lakers attack, and I'll say attack because it happened on both sides of the ball. That Lakers attack that cranked things up defensively in the second quarter, which is where LeBron's shots actually started to come in the second quarter, was as they turned defense into offense, as they created a little pace in that way. He still finished. He did not play. He didn't shoot in the first. He didn't play in the fourth. And he still had 21 points. And more importantly, got the line, took eight free throws. Yeah. And that, I thought, was a really telling figure. I think he is looking, to your point, we'll quit here, but I think to your point, LeBron is looking for ways to conserve. I don't think the shotless first quarter was some sort of grand strategy, but I do think broadly, if somebody is why they're having other guys play the point, be on the ball so much, on the offensive side, just because it lightens the burden a little bit, so that when you need him, whether that is defensively or offensively, and when the whole team cranked it up, LeBron was in the center of that 18 second quarter points for Golden State. He can do it. Yep. Because this is, Anthony Davis is supposed to be the best player on the team, for 48 minutes worth. Anyway, 32 minutes for LeBron, 33 minutes for Anthony Davis, and a 30-point win is about as good as things can possibly be drawn up for the Lakers. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go to see the show. Of course, we will be back Monday, Andy, but not until we tell people this.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Prize Picks, and you can be part of the $1 million daily Superflex promotion. And every day of the NBA playoffs and the finals, one Prize Picks user will win a chance at becoming a millionaire. One entry will be placed after 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and then randomly selected each day. Whoever plays that entry will be given a 6-pick flex with the following payouts: 6 correct picks, $1 million; 5 correct picks, $80,000. 4 correct picks, $16,000. Full details can be found at prizepicks.com/1million. You must opt in at this link to be eligible for the $1 million entry. Once you opt in, all you have to do is play the game like normal, and you could be the lucky winner. Prize Picks has the best NBA DFS prop game on the market. They offer more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator. The superstar players, the bench players, just pick 2 to 6 players, and whether they will notch more or less than your Prize Picks stats projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money. And they got projections on everything from MLB to NHL playoffs to cricket. Use the award-winning app on the App Store and Google Play. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. Safe, fast withdrawals. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. Sign up, play daily fantasy sports, and first-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. Again, don't forget that promo code Locked On at the sign-up for the instant match. If you're not playing Prize Picks, you don't know what you're missing.
All right, we will see everybody on Monday. Huge win for the Lakers on Saturday. They're up 2-1, and see if they can do that 3-1 thing. Worked in the last series. All right, we'll see everybody Monday.